Hello, welcome to day 11 of our 90 days data analytics training. I am super excited to have you back, and I hope you enjoyed every bit of our theoretical class and you understand everything that we explained in the theoretical class. Today we are moving into the practical class, and we are going to be starting our practical class by learning Microsoft Excel. We are going to see how we can perform all of the data analysis process that we explained in the theoretical class, how we can apply it, how we can analyze our data, how we can clean our data, how we can visualize our data using Excel. What we'll be doing today is basically familiarizing ourselves with the interface of Excel. What is this place called? So when I want you to go there to do something, what is it called? What is this place called? What is this place called? So I just want you to get familiar with the terms, the interface, and the whole structure of the spreadsheet we are going to be working with. Let's get straight into the tutorial. So why do we use Excel for data analysis? One is because it is easy to learn and it is powerful for data tasks. Another reason is because it is widely used in companies across all industries. Think of any industry, the first software today probably use would be Excel, and it helps with data entry, data cleaning. You can use it for data analysis, data visualization, and even reporting. Now let's get familiar with the Excel interface. This part in the Excel interface is what we call the ribbon tab, where you have the file, home, insert, page layout, formulas. This line is called the ribbon tab. And then we have the formula bar. This is the part called the formula bar. You can see when I'm upping on it, it's already showing me formula bar. So this is where we can type in our formulas. We also have the worksheet area. So this is the worksheet area. Inside here, like from here downward like this, where we have the grids, is what we call the worksheet area. We also have rows and column. So this place where we have the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, these are columns. This is column H, this is column I, this is column J. And the part where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are rows. So this is row 2, row 3, row 4, blah, 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 like that. And then we also have the cell reference, right? We have something that we call cell reference. So if I click on this particular cell, so this is a cell, and we have a cell reference that would refer to when I want to say, okay, go to this particular cell. This cell that I'm clicking on, for example, you can see that C is highlighted and 2 is highlighted. So this is cell C2 that I just clicked on. If I click here, this is cell, you can see A is highlighted, 5 is highlighted. So this is cell A5. If I click here, can you tell me what cell this is? Okay, if you said G4, then you are absolutely right. And lastly, this is cell D10. So we have cell reference, and if I just say go to cell K2 or go to cell O8, right? So these are what we call cell reference. All right, so let's talk about some Excel basic terminologies, right? So we have what we call workbook. So the entire Excel file is a workbook. So if I save this file on my PC and I send the file to somebody, I can easily tell them, oh, I just sent you the Excel file, or I just sent you the workbook. All right, so the entire file is called the workbook. So there's also something we call the worksheet. The worksheet is just a single tab inside the workbook. So for example, you can see we have sheet 1 right here. So this sheet 1 is a single tab in this whole file. So this is a worksheet. I can create multiple worksheets inside one single workbook. Remember, the workbook is the file. So to create another worksheet, you can just click the plus button. You can see now we have worksheet 1 and worksheet 2 inside just one workbook. And also we have what we call range. A range is just a selection of multiple cells. So I said this is an example of a cell. A cell is just like one box, is the intersection between the row and column. And I told you that we have cell reference, which is this one is like D3 right here. So if we have a range like this, I just highlight multiple cells, then this is called a range. The range reference would be E. You start from where it started. It started from E3. Can you see? E3 to where did it stop? It stopped at column J and row 10. So this is range E3 to H10. That's this particular range. So let me know what this range is in the comment section. Type the range I just selected right now in the comment section. So now let's talk about how you can enter data in Excel. So before you can enter data in Excel, you first of all click on the cell where you want to input your data. You click on the cell and then you type the data that you want to put in there. It could be a text, it could be number. So let's say I want to type Tosin here. I can just start typing after clicking on the cell. I can click on another cell. Let's say I want to type a number. Let me type 15. Okay, so once you are done typing something, let's say I want to type joy, I can either press enter to move to the next one, or I press tab to move to the next line. All right. Okay, so whenever you want to type in Excel, you have to remember there's something we call column header. So column header is like, let's say in this particular column, in this column A, I want to type the names of students that are currently taking my YouTube course. So I'm going to have the column header, which is like a description of what I'll be writing in this particular column. So it's the names of people that I'm going to be writing in this column. So I'm going to write the column header, which is name. From the second row, I can now start typing the actual names that I want to put in that column. So I can now start typing Tosin, Joy, Charles, etc. So I can start typing that. So the column header, whenever you see the first row, is mostly always the column header, and it is just a description of what you are to be expected in the column itself. So let's talk about some basic Excel functions. So functions are just predefined formulas that we use in Excel. So for example, let's say we have three numbers. Let's say I have 6, 7, and 88. And I want to know the addition of these three numbers. I want to know 6 plus 7 plus 8. What is the sum of it? I can use Excel function called the sum function. So to use the function, you don't just type sum directly. It's not going to calculate it, but you always have to start your function with an equals to sign. Whenever you start something with an equals to sign, Excel basically understand that you probably want to use a function. I'm just going to say equals to, the function we are using to add numbers together is sum. So I'm going to type sum, and once you type it, it's going to give you a summary of what that function is doing. Can you see when I type sum now, it tells me that it will add all the numbers in a range of cell. So whatever range I add is going to add the number together. And you can see other sum. If this one, it will add the number but based on a specific condition that we state. So we are using sum right now. I just press the tab key, or you can just press open bracket. Then I'll highlight the range that I want to sum, and I'll close the bracket and press enter key. Can you see this is 101? So if we actually do the calculation manually, you see that it is absolutely correct. And also get the average for these numbers. To get the mean, we call it the mean or average, you remember from the theoretical class. So we can get the average by just saying equals to, and then we do average, and then we highlight these numbers, and then we press enter. You can see the average is 33.67 approximately. Okay, let's just play around 2 more functions, 2 to 3 more functions, and then later on we'll go deep into functions and all of that. So let's say we want to know how many, the count of these numbers. Because it is just 3 numbers, we can see it, but if we have like thousands of rows, you know, we won't be able to see it. So let's say I want to count how many these numbers are. So I can just use the count function, highlight the number, and then it's going to tell me that it is 3 numbers that I have right there. So another function is, let's say I want to know the minimum number out of these 3 numbers. Which one is the smallest? I can use the min function and then highlight the cell, and it's going to give me the minimum value. You can see out of 88, 7, and 6, 6 is the smallest. If I want to know the highest one, I can do the max function. So right there, you can see how we can use functions. We've used 5 functions now. As we progress in this class, we're going to go deep into functions, and then we are going to treat more complex functions. So let me explain to you some formatting data techniques. So that means we want to make like our data easier to read. We can decide to make the column header, which is always the first row. We can decide to make it bold. So it signifies that, okay, this is the column header, and maybe like increase the font size. Okay, so I can just click on that cell and make it bold. Can you see now it's bold? So I can make the column header bold. I can increase the size right here. If I want to increase the size, I'll just come here. Can you see? I've increased the size for this one. I'm not going to do that anyways. So that's how you can increase the font size. You can give the cell a color. So let's say, for example, I want to give this cell a color. I'll just click on the cell. This is where you get your fill color that you can give to background of cells. You can click on the drop down. Let's say you want to give it a blue color. You can see that. So let me try to give this particular A1 cell a color. Let's give a, I think I like blue. So if you want to give the text color, this is where the font color is. We can click on the drop down and change the color to white. Can you see that? So you can change the color. You can do some basic formatting. I just want you to get familiar with the interface so that you can work with it smoothly. Another thing you can do is you can do basic number formatting. Let me just undo this cell color I added. Okay, so we can do basic number formatting. So let's say we want to change this rate means percentage. We want to change it to percentage. So instead of 0.3, we want to multiply it by 100. You don't have to do that manually. All you have to do is select that column that you want to change the data type. You want to change to percentage, and just come here to the home tab in the ribbon and come under numbers. You're going to see this general. Just click on the drop down and change it to percentage. Can you see right here? So now the first one, it just multiplied everything by 100. So now that it's multiplied it by 100, let's say I don't want it to have this 0.00. I just want it to be 30%, 3%, 45% without the 0.00. I'll come to this same numbers tab and press this decrease decimal point. Can you see when I clicked it once, it reduced it to 1 decimal point. If I click it again, it's gonna give us as whole number. And if you want to have multiple decimal points, you can just press this one to increase this decimal point. So for this, let's say the age column now, this is a numerical data type, but you can see it's showing us general here. If you want to change the data type from just general, we want to give it to the actual number that it is, we can click on the drop down and change it to number. Can you see? So we can remove the decimal place as well. So this is the part where we change data type that we talked about earlier. You can see if you have a date column, it's in short format, you want to change it to long date. You want to change it to percentage, fraction. You have currency data, maybe you want to change something to naira, dollar, whatever. So this is the part where you can come to change your data type. Another thing you can do is you can use format as table for automatic styling. So we can turn this into a table. I can just highlight it and come here under styles, still in the home ribbon. Come here under styles, you see format as table. So you can pick any table, any format you want it. I just picked one. My table has header. That means that we mean this first column is our header, right? It's not part of the data values. So I'm just going to click OK. Can you see now it has added black color and it is now in form of a table. So let me just expand it. I'll just double click on this first one. And then you can see it added a drop down to this. I can remove it if I want. I'll tell you what the drop down is later. I'll come to the data tab here. And then this is the filter. That's why it's showing us the drop down. So I can just remove it. All right, so now we have a small table and you just saw how I created the table. Another thing I want to explain to you is sorting and filtering. How can we sort our data and how can we filter it out? So let's take, for example, this rate column. I have 30%, 3%, 45%. Let's say I want to arrange this from the smallest to the largest or from the largest to the smallest. We call that ascending or descending order. So I can highlight this, right click, and then go to sort. You can see sort right there. If I want it from smallest to largest, I can click on it. You can see that it arranged the entire data set with 3% coming up, followed by 30, followed by 45%. Also, you can sort alphabetic data type as well. I can highlight this if I want the male to come up before the female. That will be from largest to smallest, because F comes first before M, but we want M to come first before F, so that will be rearranging it the other way. So I can right click and then come here to sort, and sort it from Z to A. Can you see? So male is now up, and that is how you can do sorting. We just did sorting in Excel. Now let me explain how you can do filtering in Excel. So you can just highlight this data set, right? And in this ribbon tab, you go to the data tab, you click on data, and then under this sort and filter, you're going to see filter. You can click on this filter and it's going to add the drop down box to it. So we just added a data filter. So what do we really use this data filter for? So let's say we have thousands of rows of data, and I just want to quickly gain insight into the gender. Maybe we have male, female, and somebody wrote MAL instead of MALE. I want to see if we have any data error or inconsistency in our data. I can just easily click on this filter right here and check the categories that we have in that particular column. You can see here we have just female and male, which is good, right? So for this one, let me just remove the last E so you understand what I'm saying. So if I click on this for the drop down now, you see that we have 3 categories instead of it to be 2. So this is just a typographical error, right? And these are some of the data cleaning we would do when I explain data cleaning, that we could have Jan instead of January. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. In our other class, we'll see how we can clean this type of data in Excel. And we also have autofill. So let's say, for example, I have female here and I want the next 3 rows after that to be female as well. I don't want to start typing it. I'm too lazy to do that. I can just do autofill by clicking on the value I want to replicate, and just click. If you see this button right here, if I click it, I drag it down to the 3 rows. Can you see it's gonna duplicate that for the 3 rows? So that's what we call autofill in Excel. All right, so this is the end of our class for today. We talked about navigating Excel interface. I told you about ribbon, formula bar, worksheets, workbook. I told you about cell, range, and all of these things. We talked about how we could enter and format our data sets. Also showed you how to use some basic formulas in Excel. We've seen how to sort and filter in Excel, and also how to autofill, which was the last thing I did for this tutorial. So let's get ready for the next tutorial, where we are going to see how we can do data entry, formatting, and cleaning in Excel. I can't wait to see you in the next class, and I want you to practice everything we did for this class so you don't forget, and in the next class you'll be able to understand it better. Comment down if you understood everything that I explained to you in this series, and don't forget to join the paid community where you can get certification that you participated in the 90 days challenge. You get mentorship, live classes, you get real world projects. There's a lot of package in joining the paid community. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.